I see you got your popcorn. We have a special edition here. Hold on. Joy's popcorn bucket.
Oh, wow.
Look
what
at
a
this.
great gift.
There you go.
Thank you for that.
Let's talk about today's show.
Okay.
Today we talked about the Saturday Night Live 50th anniversary special and some of the backlash that came from the Tom Hanks sketch, Black Jeopardy. People felt like because he was playing a Trump supporter that seemed kind of racist. And you understood why people were offended because you don't like the idea of people kind of painting with one brush a big group of people.
I don't think it's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that a lot of these so-called MAGA people were misled by Trump because he told them he would do certain things and he's not doing them. And then he didn't tell them he was going to do other certain things, and everybody knows what they are at this point, and he's doing them.
Right.
Like, renaming places, trying to usurp property around the world that doesn't belong to him, like Canada and Panama and Greenland. Excuse me, called imperialism. I didn't vote for that. I'll speak for a MAGA person.
Sure.
I did not vote for that. I wanted my eggs to come down in price. I wanted gasoline to come down, even though I know that the president has nothing to do with that. I wanted mortgage rates to come down. The things that affect my family. I don't care if you want to own Panama. Why are you bringing that into this?
Well, it's
a big distraction.
Going back to Saturday Night Live, the Tom Hanks getting backlash, and he's a kind of political person, but he's not probably someone used to backlash in this sense the way that maybe you are.
Yeah, but he went for it.
He did go for it. The show's really, for 50 years, been political in a lot of ways. Do you think that's kind of what made it relevant all this time?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, there's no question. If it's just a sketch comedy show, there are a million of them around in the past 50 years. This is the one that has the big anniversary that's being celebrated because of that.
It's kind of...
Look at what Tina Fey did to Sarah Palin.
Yeah.
I can see Russia from my house. I mean, that was the end of Sarah Palin.
That was pretty much it.
Powerful.
That was pretty much it. You've mentioned it before, but you've been around these folks for a long time, SNL and Lorne Michaels and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know them.
Little.
I don't know them that well, but I...
Are you surprised that Lorne's still doing this 50 years in?
People, you can ask me the same question.
Yeah.
It's going to be my 29th year here with the 2-year hiatus where they kicked me off the show.
Right.
And then begged me to come back.
Begged. That was part of the begging.
Let's not forget that. You were part of the begging. Still got the knee pads.
Yep.
I think that the show's success has a lot to do with him. When I was there years ago, there was a sign in his office. I said this on the air. The captain's word is law, meaning him.
I like it.
He's the captain.
I like it.
I know.
Yeah.
You love that.
Yes.
But he actually fulfilled that. You're having trouble with that.
Yeah, Brian's word is a kind of suggestion.
You have a different style, Brian.
Yes.
I always tell you that.
No, it's the highest compliment from Joy Behar.
No, because you are amenable to change and you have a great sense of humor and you're not somebody who believes that you're the big king of it all. And I appreciate that.
No, or if I do believe it, I believe it secretly inside.
Secretly, I don't care.
Right, that's fine. When we talk about big anniversary, so I watched the show. I'm a big fan of Saturday Night Live and comedy and things like that. So I watched everything this weekend, and then I started watching the documentaries they're doing for the 50th anniversary, and they're fascinating.
That I would like to see.
It's on Peacock. I really highly recommend it. It's great. There's a series of
a lot
them.
of behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes and all the stories. And then my wheels started turning because, as you just mentioned, we're coming up on an anniversary ourselves pretty soon.
We are.
We're in season 28 right now. We're coming up on a 30th anniversary of The View.
What year is the 30th
in 2 years.
And then what are you going to do?
Well, I had a lot of ideas coming out of this because I think, a very different kind of legacy than Saturday Night Live, but they really dove into a lot of the behind-the-scenes stories, a lot of the stuff that people really want to know more about. Like they had Sinead O'Connor ripping up the Pope's picture.
That was good.
And all the backstage stuff around that and how people reacted and what happened.
I was reading about that. Didn't Sinead O'Connor, she was molested as a child. I think that's what created all the rage in her.
She was a guest here 2 seasons ago. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Very lovely.
But she caught a lot of flack for that.
She did, and they talked about it, and Lorne Michaels actually was very upset at the time, and now in retrospect talks about how he realizes it was really incredibly brave.
Oh, he didn't like it at the time.
No, I mean, I wouldn't like it either. I'm a producer. But going back into it, you start to think about the View's 30th and what that could mean. And
clips.
Yeah, but clips are boring.
They're not.
I want new interviews on the things people are dying to know about. Like, for instance, getting like your point of view on things like the split screen and things like that.
On the what?
The split screen. And,
split screen.
Or that crazy season when you weren't here. I'd like to talk to Whoopi and Rosie O'Donnell about that season. I'd like to get into all of this stuff.
That's interesting.
And I think
That'll
that's
be good.
interesting.
Yeah,
so I think we got a documentary in us somewhere on that.
The half the show is behind the scenes.
Yeah. So people who are listening, let me know the stories about The View you've heard, you want to know the truth about. You want to get into the backstory of the days, the walk-off day with Bill O'Reilly.
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff.
Let's go back to the original conversation we're having here.
Yeah.
One of the things Bill O'Reilly said that day was that Muslims are terrorists. I said to him, you can't brush the entire Muslim community that way. And he insisted he could. I don't know where he was coming from with that crazy idea.
Yeah.
And that's why I got up and walked away.
Right. But I want to...
I'm very consistent. I will defend whoever does that.
So everyone's seen that clip 100 times. But I want to talk about how the meeting after that day, how Barbara reacted, things like that. Save it.
Okay, I'll save it.
But I want to get into all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. And then also, of course, I think then you need a live special of some kind with a lot of the ladies from the years and
you
talking
should
about
bring
stuff.
back everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, only Barbara's not with us anymore, but everybody else is still alive.
Right.
Yeah.
So we could do something like that. I don't know. It's a lot of excitement. So
and some of the early guests, I believe Sylvester Stallone was on in the beginning.
Tom Selleck was the first
Tom
day.
Selleck,
I remember that. Yeah. It'd be fun to do that. And then I think one of the other interesting things was talking to people about the impact of the show. And I think we should start to talk to people about that now when we have, big politicians on and things like that, and look back at, like for instance, AOC. AOC was on this show the day after she won. And it was almost like a human interest booking at the time because nobody knew who she was. She was working in a bar at that point. I mean, it was crazy. And then she had this incredible position. And now she's one of the most consequential and impressive political figures in America.
Yeah.
So I'd love to get a clip of that and talk to her about it and things like that.
Well, you
I think
better
we could have
start
fun.
now.
I think I have to. I got a year and a half.
Right.
All right. So a lot of work to be done.
Okay.
All right. Let's talk about the rest of the show today. We had director Will Packer on today.
Very impressive guy.
It really is. And he talked about dealing with rejection, like Beyonce saying no to him 5 times.
Yeah.
And the power of pivoting when your project doesn't go as planned, which is kind of the View's mantra. Nothing ever goes as planned here. He produced the Oscars the year the Will Smith slap happened and had to deal with that and had a pivot there. What, I guess the question is, have you ever handled rejection throughout your career and how has that gone for you?
When I was young, I could not handle rejection. So when I was senior in high school, for instance, and I was already pretty funny.
Yeah.
I was a funny kid. I used to do shtick for the Fuller Brush Man. Whoever came to he'd be like, do Jerry Lewis. And I would just go right into Jerry Lewis.
Oh, nice.
I was a wacky kid.
Yeah.
And they encouraged it. And then when I did this high school thing, I wrote, directed, and starred in this, what they call Senior Follies. I emceed it. I did a sketch. I wrote music around it, and we made fun of the teachers. We did a takeoff on My Fair Lady, etc. And one of the teachers said to me, not how terrific, wow, you did that whole yourself. She said, anybody could make fun of the teachers. Well, it turned out that the kids really enjoyed it.
I bet.
And I was there to entertain the kids, not the teachers. And that set me back. One conversation like that from a teacher set me back for years.
How so? Like it impacted your
I immediately
confidence?
said, well, because I had been getting praise from my family, and I didn't know what rejection looked like.
Right.
And so it stung me, and so it stopped me. And it was a small thing. And it impacted my career for a long time. But I did okay, but I didn't throw myself into showbiz, which is where I really belonged.
That's right.
So then over the years, with a lot of psychotherapy and a lot of experience, I brush it off now.
Did you ever see the teacher after you had some success? Did you ever...
Well, then I found out that, she was a product of the HUAC, the House Un-American Activities Committee, which went after so-called communists.
Right, sure.
And she probably was her husband and her also. And so they suffered from that type of attack and discrimination. And she was angry.
Wow.
I figured she was angry. Here I was, a 17-year-old girl who had a future ahead of me, and hers was behind her already, and she was screwed by the HUAC people. So I understand that now.
Wow.
There's always a reason for people behaving badly.
Well, the other thing we talked about today was James Carville. And he made news saying the Democrats should sit back and relax right now. You said that people who do nothing empower the enemy.
I totally disagree with him.
Yeah.
I think he was very good with Clinton, but we're in another world right now, and you're dealing with two men, Trump and Musk, who are basically seizing power. And you can't just sit back and do nothing. I'm a student of World War II. I've seen this movie. I watched them over and over again. You don't sit back. You protest before it gets out of hand. Because once it's out of hand and they have all the power, then they have the army, they've got the Navy, they've got everybody to stop you. So, no, I don't agree with that at all. I wish you'd have him on the show so I could tell him to his face.
All right, we'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do. Let's talk about these plane crashes that have been happening.
Oh, God.
This is crazy. I think we're all on edge about flying these days.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a fear of flying? Whoopi famously
Yes.
had a very severe
I don't like.
one.
Well, it's a lack of control, and you feel like you're in a coffin.
How old were you the first time you flew? Do you remember?
I was a teenager. My uncle had got a job in Minneapolis, and so we flew to Minneapolis.
Were you nervous then or not so
No,
much?
I didn't know any better.
Right. Yeah.
But then when you realize that, God didn't give us wings for a reason.
Yeah. No, it's, statistically very safe still to fly, but it's
That's
scary.
you have to go on the numbers. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're much more a possibility of getting killed in an auto accident.
All right, let's go back to Will Packer for a minute.
Okay.
The one thing that made me think of you in that whole conversation was his ability to pivot, because I think you also...
Oh, I'm a pivoter.
You're a pivoter. You've been really vocal about how you've pivoted in your life, like we just talked about a little bit.
Yeah.
What's your advice to people who have to start over again?
Look, I didn't really start my stand-up career till I was almost 40. And I thought I was old at that point. I did. Now I'm old, twice the age, and I look back and I say, you were a baby.
Right.
You were so young. And people live longer now. And I believe in just trying things. And don't worry what people say. Let them say what they want. Geraldine Ferraro, who's really a pioneer in politics, the first woman to run for vice president. I said to her, what do you do with all of the negative rejections and the things that people say? She said, I throw them in the garbage. She went like this. And I took a note there.
Did you ever consider a political career at all?
No. Too restrictive.
Yeah. You wouldn't enjoy it?
No, I would definitely not enjoy it. I don't care about power. I care about personal power, not power over people. Who cares?
All right.
You have your own personal power. That's what Packer's trying to talk about. I think he was very good.
I thought so too. We have listener questions. I know you enjoy these. It relates to pivoting in life a little bit. Brian and Joy, your podcast episodes got me through a breakup. Look at that.
That's nice.
Your entertaining discussions have kept me sane, and I can't thank you enough for that. Well, this is the power of our relationship. I like this. Do you have any advice on dating after experiencing infidelity? Ooh.
Oh, infidelity's a bitch.
Yeah.
That's a bitch because you lose trust. That's the problem. I often wonder, why do people tell the other person that they cheated? Why keep it to yourself?
Yeah, I guess guilt is kind of the
it's
motivation.
like, I want to unload on you.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've done it and you're done with it, then shut up.
Or you feel guilt about lying, and you feel bad about putting on a false face.
You should feel more guilty about infidelity than about lying to your spouse.
Yeah.
Because you're lying for a good reason, to keep her or him sane.
Yeah. It's interesting. I've been cheated on in relationships, but my wife is the most. My wife would just tell me if she was going to. If she decided to have an affair, she'd just call me up and say, "Yeah, I've decided to do this. We're going to move on." There's no lying there. Brutally honest is where I went. I don't have to worry about this stuff.
In my show, My First Ex-Husband, there's one monologue about a guy who says to her, "Please, let me cheat. I need to have an affair because I have a high sex drive." Asking for permission.
Yes.
And she says, "No, you can't do that. Are you crazy?"
And then, spoiler alert, he cheats anyway.
Well, this is why they get divorced. That's
Right.
part of the reason. Yeah.
Right.
There's a whole story that comes out after that that's really good. And it's about, that one's given to me by someone who's somewhat famous.
Yes.
We won't say who it is.
I know who it
Everybody's anonymous, but the stories are all true.
Yeah. You're a few weeks into this play, and how's it going now as far as your...
We're doing great.
Yeah.
We sell out every night. You can go to myfirstexhusband.com for tickets. And it's right here on the Upper West Side. Well, not on the West Side anymore. We're downtown now, but it's on the Upper West Side somewhere.
Tremendous amount of work, though, for you. I mean,
For me, it's a lot of work doing the two, but I'm only in it till Sunday. And then a new cast is coming. Susan Lucci, Judy Gold,
Big stars.
Tanya
Yep.
Pinkins. And you know who else? I told you this last time. The woman from the De Niro movie. Kathy Moriarty.
Oh, Kathy Moriarty, yes.
Who plays Jake LaMotta's wife.
Yes,
She
Raging
was
Bull.
good in that.
Yeah.
I couldn't take my eyes off of her in that film.
Yeah.
And she's doing it.
She's also in Soap Dish with Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh, is she?
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah.
All right, so that's great, and you're holding up okay, and we got one more
I'm
week to go.
holding up okay as long as I get to sleep.
Yes, I know.
You know, I woke up in the middle of the night. Like I look at the clock and it's like 12:30. What am I supposed to do with that?
You're drinking too much water. That's the problem.
That's true.
Yeah. Stop at 3:00. I heard through the grapevine that you've been adding political lines throughout the show.
Yes.
Is what made you do that?
Some of them asking for it. You know.
Yeah.
You know, like there's one story about a woman in a religious cult. And what they basically want you to do in these cults is become a trad wife again. And it's not that much different from what the Supreme Court is talking about.
Right.
So the parallel positions were very interesting, glaring, in my opinion. And whenever we do it in this show, they clap, they scream, they love it.
Yeah, well, you come to see Joy Behar,
Well,
you want a little of this.
some of them do. They don't all come to see me.
No.
They can't. Next week, I'm not going to be there.
No, I know, but you still wrote it. They want a little bit of
Yeah,
the Joy
that's true.
feeling, I think. You go see Henny Youngman, you want to hear him say, "Take my wife, please."
Henny Youngman,
Yeah.
you go to the Friars Club. See, this is where I pivot.
Yeah.
Okay, he'd be 90 years old, be sleeping like this, completely sleeping. And then you say, "Hi, Henny," and he would go like this. "Take my wife, please." Like out of a coma. I swear.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
You could do that too. Just do, so what? Who cares?
So what? Who cares?
Yeah. You'd sell out Jones Beach, Montauk, whatever. All right. So we have a listener question. This is from Ann in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
What is the day in the life of Joy Behar after The View while you're doing the play? Tell us about this.
Okay. Today I'm here. I'm doing this. And before this, I did a short tape piece.
Yes.
I'll go home now. I'll eat leftovers from last night's dinner because Monday we're off and we always go out to dinner together, my husband and I, and we always never eat all the food anymore.
You split a steak. And,
we split everything. And I'll eat some of that, and I'll try to take a nap because I have a show tonight at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock. I don't know. And I can't fall asleep. But I'll try to close my eyes because I need energy again later.
Right.
So then I'll do that.
At some point, you'll butt dial me, which happens at least
I'll
once a
butt
day.
dial you.
Yes.
And you'll write to me, "Do you want me for something?" And I'll write no.
No. Yep.
And then I go to the theater. Everybody's there. We're having chats. They perk me up a little, and then we go out and do the show. And then I go home and
Do you get like a
collapse.
burst of electric kind of excitement at
I'll
the
tell
theater?
you, the difficulty sometimes with theater is before the show because you're anticipating it and you don't know. But the minute I'm on that stage and somebody the other night just yelled out my name. Other nights they're laughing before I even open my mouth. So some of them, and then I get the energy back.
Right.
It really is very dependent on the audience. If the audience is comatose, it's not as good.
It's not dissimilar to doing this show, I would think, because again, most of your anxiety or anything is
always
before
the show.
Yeah.
Barbara Walters was just like that. She had performance anxiety. And everybody has that a little bit.
Yeah.
If you don't have it, something's off.
I heard you're doing the 92nd Street Y again.
Yes, I am. On March 19th, my people from myfirstexhusband.com, you can go there and get tickets.
It says right here, it's Joy Behar, Susan Lucci, Sherry Shepard, and Judy Gold.
Oh, is Sherry coming?
Yeah, Sherry's coming too.
And Susan Lucci and Judy Gold. Yes, the
Yeah.
four of us.
That's great.
Great. Oh, I love Sherry.
Yeah.
I want to do her show. I couldn't do it because I was sick a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Sherry's the best.
But we'll do it, and we'll talk about what I do.
Yeah, and while you're there, book her for the 30th anniversary. We'll get that done too.
Of course. She
There
would
we
be
go.
happy to do it.
All right.
Sherry's a great girl.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
She's one of my favorite of the co-hosts that I've ever worked with.
I've gotten to work with her as a guest co-host, and I've gotten to know her a little bit. But of all the people I've run into that I
Yeah.
haven't worked with,
Yeah.
she seems like she would have been a fun person to have on one of the
She's the
casts.
easygoing. Her heart is in the right place.
Yeah, and she's funny.
She grew up as a Jehovah's Witness. She had to knock on people's doors as a little kid. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Well, the Earth is flat. It'll definitely be part of the 30th anniversary.
Barbara got her
breakdown.
all flummoxed. She said, "Come on, what is the Earth round, Sherry?" She got scared. And I should do it in my act. I'd tease her. You say, "Well, we got her a globe," and now she knows.
She's a very smart lady. That's the funny thing.
She's
Yeah.
doing her own show. You don't do
Yeah.
your own show if you
No,
don't.
there's very few people that can do that by themselves.
Right.
It's really great. And she writes all that opening monologue she does. And
Does she?
Yeah, it's really impressive.
I love that Susan Lucci is doing the show next week.
It's really exciting.
Because she's very funny.
Yes.
I don't think they always knew her as Erica Kane.
Yeah, no, but she's she's about as she's like royalty, really. I mean,
And she's totally iconic.
Yeah.
And now that she won an Emmy, I remember the night she won the Emmy, and the guy who handed it said, "The streak is over." Because every year she would never win it.
Yep. I remember the year after she won, I think it was, I was on a plane with her going to the daytime Emmys.
Yeah.
And trying to figure out if that was a good omen or a bad omen. Was it a
Oh.
good omen because she had just won, or a bad omen because she's the longest running loser? So there you go.
Yeah.
I lost.
But I saw her do celebrity autobiography one time where they
Yeah.
read from people's biography, and she was funny. And I said, she would be good in my show.
That was a good move.
Yeah.
That was a good move. All right. Well, thank you for joining me today, Joy. Tomorrow I'll be back with Alyssa Farah Griffin. Joy's on her phone. We'll see you then.